Is it your expectation, though, that Kash Patel will pursue investigations against your political enemies?
No, I don't think so.
Do you want to see that happen?
If they were crooked, if they did something wrong, if they have broken the law, probably they went after me. You know, they went after me and I did nothing wrong.
Well, let me ask you this. You said President Biden, quote, that you're going to appoint a real special prosecutor to go after Joe Biden. You said that
Where
during
did I say that?
the campaign.
Where?
You said that on Truth Social, June 12th, 2023. I will appoint a real special prosecutor to go after the most corrupt president in the history of the United States, Joe Biden, and the entire Biden crime family. Are you going to do that? Are you going to go after Joe Biden?
I'm really looking to make our country successful. I'm not looking to go back into the past. I'm looking to make our country successful. Retribution will be through success. If we can make this country successful, that would be my greatest, that would be such a great achievement. Bring it back. We have a country now that's overridden with crime, that has millions of people that shouldn't be here, that should be in prisons in other countries, that should be in mental institutions. We have drug lords being dropped into our country and told never.
Retribution. That will be our success. That will be our legacy. Good evening, one and all. I am Friendship Pearson, and welcome to Friendship Blue. I have 7:14 in the p.m. And it's what? Sunday, the 8th of December. And he's on Meet the Press. Mr. President is on Meet the Press. Fielding a lot of questions. Yeah. And if you didn't notice, he has on his gold tie. And I'm asking you, is he speaking without speaking? The Make America Great Golden Age symbol. Well, people, the whole world, bated breath, waiting on Mr. President. What, we got about 43 days left, give or take? You know, I was thinking earlier, I was driving, I was like, you know, I did report, I believe, that his wife will not be at the White House. I think it's the first 2 months, don't quote me, but his wife will not be at the White House at the beginning. And he told his children that they won't be in politics in this administration. The wheels got to turning in my head like, you know what? If and when a JFK situation occurs, nobody will be at the White House. Is that a plan? Just something to ponder. Put in the comment section. I do believe, I knew I did a video and I pointed that out, that Melania will not be at the White House. It's going to be a while. I think something to do with school in terms of Barron. Hey, interesting. But yeah, the Meet the Press, our miniature State of the Union, was aired today. Yeah. I had to rush home and catch it. I'll be presenting another video that I did in the car with my son earlier today. But I thought I'd put this out first. Did I say that our miniature State of the Union? Yeah, it is. Without Fancy Nancy. This is going to be interesting how things are going to materialize. I got to give it to him. He's everywhere. France yesterday, Meet the Press today, and God only knows what else tomorrow. But I want to point out some things that he talked about. Just wanted to get that part out the way first. Retribution will be our success. But he kind of double speak. He kind of double spoke. I'm looking at my notes, and he's got Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. He didn't necessarily say that he was going to call the dogs off if they found something. That is Joe Biden and company. Interesting. So let's go down this list, because it is an hour and 16 minutes long, and that's a long time for people who are busy, especially if you with your kids this weekend. I can appreciate it. So that's what I'm here for, right? So the first 100 days, that's what this was about, the first 100 days. I'll put this in the description. And that quote that I just played, that's at the 35-minute mark. Yeah. First topic, right off the bat. Pew. Borders. Borders. Talked about the first signal from the U.S. to the world. He said he ain't playing no games. And I believe she hit him on every possible question about borders known to man and woman. And like he said, it's not his goal to separate families at all. So all the family members should go back. Stop sending out all these videos of these children and women crying, and you're not looking at the whole picture. He said, look, my border czar has already said and made it clear where I stand, but I'll reiterate it. If you're illegal, you're going back. We're starting with gangs. But like I said about a month ago, a chess player is not going to tell you his or her the whole strategy. Why would you? If I'm over here legally, I'm getting up out of here. That's the way I feel. So I think it will be a sneak attack. And why give anybody a chance to run? It's going to be something else. I mean, Obama sent some back. Biden questionably, as he sends some back, you had triple come right back in, arguably. But I did a video on it before. It's been done during the Depression. But yeah, he says, look, I want to send a message to the whole world. We're not playing. You're going back. It's costing us too much money and costing us on too many levels. He says he wants to put back in place the tax cuts, which will help our economy. That's number 2. 3, crime. Yeah, I think he mentioned 30-something states where the biggest crime is in Democratic cities or states. Either way, it's predominantly in the Democratic area. Why is that? The liberal way, the wokeness way, whatever you want to call it. I mean, you can't almost go a week on social media without seeing whether it's migrants or a gang of youth going into a grocery store, convenience store, or someplace. It's crazy. I have a snapshot here. I take it right quick and let you see it. I haven't even watched this video, but let me show it to you right quick. It says, Venezuela gang invades Manhattan as New York City collapses. This just came out. Came out 8 hours ago. It's what the Bible calls lawlessness. You can't argue with, this is a problem. So again, he went border, then tax cuts. Then he dove into crime. And the most being, again, in Democratic areas. Then he said he's going to work on his nominations, try to get them all passed. No matter who it is, he has faith in every last one of his nominees. Number 5, can you guarantee through tariffs the USA families won't pay more? He says, I cannot guarantee anything. However, if you look at when I did tariffs in the past, they worked. They went back and forth on that. His biggest point was we got to stop subsidizing other countries. And things would have worked had we not had COVID. His words. 6, tariffs, if properly used, they have a great effect in benefiting our country, bringing back billions of dollars for us. He says tariffs will make us rich and safe. Rich and safe. 7, talks about President Trudeau. He made a joke saying that 10 minutes after he got off the phone with President Trudeau of Canada, he took a flight straight to Mar-a-Lago so they could talk tariff talk. And he said he's also, of course, talking to the president of Mexico and China. Also about the fentanyl crisis. Big. He said it's got to stop. And he kept, no matter what subject it was, he kept circling around saying, look, these are all the things that Joe Biden could have prevented. You couldn't help but just agree. You got the bully pulpit, except for those things in relation to Congress has to vote on. Use executive order or just uphold the law that's already in place, i.e. the border crisis. Didn't have to be. It's deep, y'all. The question about minimum wage. Will he raise it? And he said, look, you gotta proceed with caution. Because Governor Newsom, he raised it, and look what happened. All these businesses are now closing. Every neck of the woods, so to speak, he's saying, cannot deal with hourly wage increase too high. And I've said that before too. I ran fast food for 19 years. If you raise, look, once you raise the prices, once you increase minimum wage by exorbitant amount, you got to go up on your prices. So now the consumer pays for it. Sometimes it's just, it works diametrically opposed to what you're trying to do. So he said, in so many words, it doesn't work in every state and every city. You got to attack this thing another way. So, not to put words in his mouth, but get these tax cuts under control, get these tariffs under control, walk and chew bubble gum and everything else at the same time. And then he finally said, look, we're going to drill, baby, drill. And we're going to get our energy back the way it used to be, automatically at lowest prices. You can't help but love the strategy, especially if you see that it works. He's a businessman. Healthcare. It went back and forth about the concept of a plan. You guys heard that during the debate. He says he has more than just a concept of a plan. He's got a few particulars he's working on. And again, if it wasn't for the COVID back in the day when he was president, he does believe his plan would have worked. But he did say Mr. Barack Care was a joke. It was, because I had it for like a month. And it was almost the price of a studio apartment per month in Chicago. So I got another plan. In my 60s, that's the kind of money I'm paying for healthcare. That's ridiculous. That's when I owned my own business. Wasn't doing YouTube. It's crazy. So yeah, he's got Pam Bondi and he's got Kash Patel in place. He did say that Kash Patel is probably the most misunderstood person in government, but that he's honest and fair, and that he is strong-handed, and he will, I guess I'll put words in his mouth, fight for truth, justice, and American way. But that part about going after those who went after Trump, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. That will be you just got to listen to the interview. It's just, you're like, whoa. If I'm not mistaken, he did say he's not really taking it off the table in case there's some things there. But he went back to retribution will be through success. Not bad, right? I think that's the best way to approach that thing. Looking at my notes here. Talked about the Federal Reserve chairman. Now that was an interesting response. She asked him, well, first she said that the Federal Reserve president said he will not leave. So he responded two ways. He said, look, if I ask him to leave, he won't resign. If I tell him, he will resign. Now that was big. That was big. So look at it like this. Trump, historically, he sends out signals, right? He sends out signals like, hey, watch it. Hey, warning. Hey, atmosphere. This is what I could do. And so he's interviewing, but he's seeding atmosphere and throwing arrows for those who should be listening. Basically, do your job and work with me, Federal Reserve, because, hey, I have a plan. I'm the elected president. You might not be, well, you're not elected, and you do oversee the economy, quote unquote, to a certain extent. You affect the economy, but I'm the people's champion. I took it as I'm the new sheriff in town. The old way of doing things, that's over with. Interesting how he put that. So let me segue into this. Talked about the FBI director. I was like, wow. He basically said, look, I've got Kash Patel, I've got other people. And she says, well, you got to make room. Aren't you going to fire him? Oh, boy. So I'm going to kind of pause for the cause on that. But she did mention that when it came down to Project 2025, that he has at least 6 people who drew that document up. They're going to be in his administration. Now that was key. That was key. I'm not saying he sweated, but he kept saying that he doesn't know anything about it. He hasn't read it. And he really wasn't interested. He didn't like that they brought it up during the campaign because, that wasn't good, but yet it hurt them more than it hurt me. But like she said, I think she had mentioned at least 7 people who drew up the 2025 are going to be a part of his administration. People be aware of that, because I've been saying for years on this channel, Mother Channel, that when I first started heavy into politics, I was researching all the king's horses and all the king's men who were involved in Jimmy Carter's administration. And they were stuff like a turkey with Council on Foreign Relations and Trilateral Commission people. One worlders, okay? Globalists. So I'm just keeping it real here. I've said it from the outset, I'm gonna say it again. People who donate heavy to the campaign and those who are the globalists who have, let's just say, limbs that stretch out from the tree, they find a way of getting their people in position of power. And there's this internal fight that you and I would never know about unless we know exactly where these people come from or their alleged secret meetings that they go to. I'm just keeping it real. That's why I said that Jimmy Carter coming in with the born again thing, I wasn't fooled about that, because I looked around who was around him, especially economically back in the day. And we caught hell during Jimmy Carter's administration. So beware. Beware. Pray this doesn't happen. But, you know, to Trump's positive, he did say there's some things he did agree with 2025 and their assessment. So then she asked him, will you pardon yourself? He looked her square in the eye and says, I didn't do nothing wrong. And that his lawyers told him, if you pardon yourself, if you even think about pardoning yourself, then it sends a message that you were guilty. And when the question came up about pardoning other people, kind of have to read between the lines because I can't discuss that. First day. It's going to be interesting first 48 hours. It's going to be look, and I wish I could talk about it, but I can't. I'm not allowed to. And he will not bother social services, Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. That's exactly what he's saying. I'm going to say it again. MC Hammer can't touch this. He said he will not touch Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Yippee, yappee, yahoo, okay? He's not going to bother. And it was quick. Come down to Taiwan and China. He said, look, I've talked to all world leaders, and that's not going to stop. And he talked about how successful he was internationally with leaders, and it's not going to stop. Certain world leaders I will not bring up. But she did bring up the Israeli situation in that he said, and she quoted, that there would be hell to pay if the hostages weren't released about time he became president. Now that was an interesting question in relation to what his response was, and he says he doesn't think that many hostages are left. That was kind of sad. He said it a few times. Well, people, I want to give you a synopsis tonight as to what this Meet the Press interview was about. Again, it's an hour and 16 minutes long. I will put it in the description. And note that at the 35-minute mark is when he responded about investigating the Joe Biden and the history, which you know has got to include his son. It's deep, y'all. I hope and pray that, you can want justice. I think the situation is so bad and so dire right now that his best move is, like he said, retribution will be through success. Now, I'm going to guesstimate as to why he took that high road. There could be some triggers out there. Now, let me explain this. There are, when you change over administration, to my knowledge, everybody doesn't leave the first day, the first week, the first 6 months. I forgot the last time I read about it, but if I had to guess, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. Let me see if I can Google it right quick. I wasn't prepared for this, but something I just thought about. Let's see. When a presidential candidate comes into office, do all the workers/staff leave within a year? Okay, it says, with a hotly contested presidential election drawing closer, it's not answering my question the way I want it to. What I want to say is no. It takes time for the transition to go through. Maybe I didn't ask the question right. If I had to guess, I've heard it takes six months to a year. And there could be also things in place internationally that if Trump comes after Biden, some things could just automatically kick off and he'll regret messing with him. Allegedly, translated. Just because Biden is not in office doesn't mean situations and people aren't in place to respond in case you come after him. Allegedly. My name is Friendship Pearson. God bless you. God bless America.